welcome to another episode of Live with the Glitter Practitioner. That is me, Dr. Nupi. Thank you for joining me for today's episode. Do let me know where you're tuning in from, please, in the comments. I love reading them all and I always reply. So please pop in where you're tuning in from and yeah, just write me a message. For everybody who I guess doesn't know me, I am a doctor, I'm a general practitioner, which is family physician in the UK, and I am passionate about holistic care and showing others, be it I'm also a transformational and spiritual life coach, and in either role, my passion is really showing how to reconnect and realign your whole self needs. That's what I mean by the full holistic approach. So without further ado, my guest today is a very good friend who is a mindset coach as well as a nutrition coach and personal trainer, and specifically helps women with endometriosis. So, without further ado, please welcome Michelle. I'll get my bells ready. Hold on. Michelle Brookes.
Hi. I love the intro. Everything is just like, oh my God, it's like so amazing. Love it.
Exactly. Thank you. I keep wanting to shift my camera because it keeps falling. There we go. How are you, Michelle?
I'm really well. How are you?
I don't know why I'm shouting. I'm very well, thank you. I was very excited to have you on today. So thank you for coming on. Hi, Alex. I keep looking at the comments as well.
Hi,
thank
Alex.
you, honey. Really appreciate you coming on. So, the audio is a little unclear, Nupi. Oh dear.
Yeah, it seems a bit crackly. A little bit crackly.
Not again? Okay, I don't really know what I can do. If you can, I'll just maybe talk a bit louder. I don't know if that's going to help.
We'll make it work.
Exactly. So tell me, Michelle, tell everybody actually who's watching, tell us a little bit about what you do and your approach.
Yeah, so basically I myself was diagnosed with endometriosis quite a while back, but it took me 17 years to actually have a diagnosis. So I suffered horrendously for many years. And at the time where I got my diagnosis, I was actually training to be a personal trainer. And then I went on to do a qualification in nutrition. And during both of the qualifications that I was doing, there was a lot of talk about women's health and a lot of talk about how to train differently and eat differently for a woman's cycle. And it started to make a lot of sense, and like light bulb moments started going off in my head that actually, as a condition, you can work around the woman's cycle to help yourself with a condition such as endometriosis. So I started doing a lot of research and found my own way of A, looking after myself, and then B, looking after the women that I was working with. And within that, I devised a program that's like a three-tier approach. It's looking at how you exercise and when. So the intensity of exercise at what time of the month, the nutrition, the nutritional support that coincides with the condition, such as like an anti-inflammatory plan, and then looking after the mindset. And that is probably the most important part. The nutrition and exercise, yes, very important, but without having the right mindset around it, then neither of those will actually work. You need the three things working together. So that's kind of my approach, a three-prong approach to helping the woman with the condition and living a better life. It's never going to go away. You're never going to get rid of it, but you can live a more pain-free, a less painful life with the condition if you get your mindset into a better place. And that's what I help women do. That's the top and bottom of it is I help women change their mindset around their condition.
I love that. And mindset is everything, really, isn't it? And I think it's giving somebody the tools, the techniques also, and I guess the inner confidence and belief that actually by just making small little changes can have such a huge impact. And I know you know, it mirrors a lot of, I guess, how my approach in with patient care, particularly in with chronic pain, endometriosis, pelvic pain being one of them. It's so debilitating, and I think it's a condition I know affects so many women to a degree where, you know, I remember saying in clinic, you know what, it is so not okay that you are crippled and you can't move because of pain. This is let's look at what we can do. Let's look further afield, looking at diet, looking at exercise, etc. Because again, it's that whole self-health needs. It's the whole thing, isn't it? Mind, body, spirit in balance. I think it's fantastic what you do, especially bringing in the personal training and the nutrition side of things.
Yeah, I mean, going back to what you just said about chronic pain, women seem to think that, or they're led to believe that a painful period is a normal thing, and they get kind of used to living with that pain. And you probably be able to talk a little bit more about that, Nupi, as a medical practitioner. But I always give the advice of, if you're having to take, or if you're not able to get rid of the pain with an over-the-counter painkiller, then you need to be looking at things a little bit more seriously, because there's definitely something going on.
Yes, absolutely. It's the persistence of pain, and also because everybody's tolerances to pain, for example, is different. If you're the key is to recognize, okay, baseline measures, what can I do to relieve the pain? Also understanding, what's it telling me? What's perhaps going on? Because pain itself, you know, when we're showing other people how to handle, how to cope with it, at the end of the day, that's somebody else's pain. I don't know. I can empathize, but at the end of the day, that's somebody else, and for them, it could be completely debilitating in their life because they need to, you know, move around loads and they can't. So it really does impact people. And then from that, it's how your body becomes sensitized to pain as well. So pain is exhausting. Totally. It's exhausting. And when you're tired, again, your defense mechanisms, your systems are all, you're more vulnerable in yourself, is how I would describe it.
Completely.
And you're tired. And that, again, makes your pain experience a lot harder to deal with. So it's looking at not just painkillers, it's looking at the whole aspect. But yes, you're absolutely right. If the bog standard pain relief is not working, you're taking it regularly, it's really not shifting it, then please don't accept that I'm going to have to live with this pain, because there are lots of different modalities we can look at in terms of management.
Completely. Definitely. Like going back to mindset as well, when a woman is living in pain, that's all she can focus on. And kind of the work that I do with women is to take that mindset again away from the pain. And I'm not saying, like, anybody who might be watching that is in pain, it's not like saying that, no, you're not in pain, it's all in your head. It's not. No, that's not what I'm saying. But it's about shifting the focus a little bit so you can manage the pain a little bit better.
That's right. Absolutely. And it's learning how to, it's not learning, I don't mean learning to cope with it, that it's this is it now. That's it. You just have to deal with it. No, it's more about, okay, until I know what's going on. So I'm thinking of you actually before you had your diagnosis, and then when you did know what was going on, it's very much, right, I know what I'm dealing with now. This doesn't work, but what else can I do? And it is that understanding is absolutely crucial. It's the whole, again, your thoughts, govern your feelings and thoughts, actions, behavior. It is all part and parcel, and it's learning, which is really difficult actually when you are in pain and you're fed up with it all and you are exhausted. It's not an easy thing, but I think it's knowing that it's okay. There are people out there who get that, and there are other modalities perhaps that we can try, we can use.
Definitely. I know for me, when I first got diagnosed, I was kind of looking still to the doctors to help me, because I didn't have any of this knowledge back then. And I went through 2 operations to help with my endometriosis. And for me, I'm not saying that this happens with everybody. Sometimes surgery helps women, but for me, it clearly didn't work. And 2 operations down, 3 months later, I was back in the same position as I was before the operation. So I knew as a healthcare professional that there were other avenues that I could explore. And that for me was like a real eye-opener and a real saving grace, because I knew that there were things that I could try, but a lot of women are left thinking that there's nothing that they can try when the medical route hasn't worked. Where else do they go to? And that's where I kind of like try and help women, because there is other things you can do. It's not just that you say, like the medical profession says, we'll do this operation, and then it hasn't worked and there's nowhere else to go. There definitely is. There definitely is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that goes for, I think that applies for anything with in chronic health. It's, you know, people with chronic health conditions and things that need lifestyle management. The medication's going to do so much. And so much of health itself is really, if you break it down to basics, it's your mind, isn't it? And it's how that affects other things. Which I guess in my F list, a lot of it is actually go back to basics and understanding, okay, what is the link between my physical health and my emotions? And what can I do? And actually, what other things I can do right here and now to help improve? It does, one of Ligia was commenting, I was reading the notes, it is something that takes time. And it is a journey, and it's not easy.
No.
But it's empowering somebody else to go, you know what, it doesn't have to be like this, and there is another way. So I think it's fabulous what you're doing. I really, really do. And I think, I really hope, you know, lots of people are watching, actually, because, you know, the fact that you're actively using nutrition, you're actively using the exercise and the coaching aspect of the mindset, it's all three together. I think that's fabulous. Absolutely.
Yeah, it all goes hand in hand, and like you just said, it's not something that happens overnight. And I think that's what people kind of get a little bit upset about, really. The fact is that, like, the doctors say that they can do an operation, and they think that that's a click of a finger and it's going to be okay again. It often isn't. And with any holistic work, it takes time, it takes dedication, it takes sacrifice, and it takes hard work. But once you put the hard work in and you change this into a lifestyle, then it just becomes an ordinary thing. It's like, I don't know what book it is. I read it a long, long time ago, but it's about, like, there's so many steps to change to become a habit.
Atomic Habits. Is it Atomic Habits? Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's upstairs, but I know. Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. But it's rewiring ever so slightly, and it's those tiny steps.
Definitely. And once they are put in place, a lot of women that I've worked with, once these things get put in place, again, it just becomes part of your lifestyle.
Exactly.
And you don't even think about it anymore. You just do it because it's helped.
Yes.
It's
the mind is so clever. It always fascinates.
Really
it
clever.
Always really fascinates me in a way that it's so powerful and can keep you locked in chains. You know, I'm feeling very dramatic tonight. I don't know why.
Is it because we've been talking about performing arts before we came on?
Yeah, probably. And it's like locked in chains, and oh my goodness, I'm trapped in my own, the things that keep you there. And actually, a lot of it is a perception, isn't it? And it's also okay, it's learning to let go as well, and just going, right, okay. Or you can just go F1 and, you know, focus and breathe. It's, you know, it's a very quick way of blasting things back to the present, and then looking at your different options. But my beautiful friend, my unicorn sister is what I call her, Diana, in the States, in LA, she made a comment of understanding the impact of stress on the body. And I I would always say to people, it's, stress doesn't mean, oh my God, I'm so stressed out. Oh, it's actually a physiological response in one's body. And it could be to a chronic over time. So pain is going to put your body under stress. Not
Yeah, it
you
manifests.
stressed, but the whole neuroscience behind
it
the
manifests
stress.
somewhere in the body.
Absolutely. And then it starts, the way the brain works, the everything, all the neurotransmitters, you're on sort of high alert mode, because that's what your body signals physiologically are telling you. And that's when you get, the things you commonly associate, say, with anxiety, even, which is dry mouth, feeling jittery, heartburn, and guess what? Pelvic stuff, pelvic pain, headaches, exhaustion, tiredness. I'm not saying stress is it's all behind it all, but it's looking at your whole self and thinking, okay, how am I in my body? How am I in my mind? What's going on? It's the root cause approach, essentially, which is what Diana was saying as well.
Yeah, it's not a surprise that every woman that I've worked with, every single woman that I've worked with, we would do like a questionnaire at the beginning, and we'd talk about stress, and on a level of 1 to 10, how is your stress? And there's never anybody under 8.
No, says it all, really.
Yeah, I always say, like, I'm not saying that because you're stressed, it's caused you to have endometriosis, but it's definitely not making your symptoms any better.
Exactly.
And that's a lot of the work that we do is getting around how A, we can deal with stress better, and B, where possible, eliminate it from the life. And that could mean at some point changing your job, as drastic as that. That's what I had to do to get my stress under control. But I'm not saying that I'd say that to every woman, but if they need to stay in the job that they have currently, then it's about working around how they can deal better with the stress whilst in that employment.
I think that's a really, really good point, actually. I think when it comes to work, I think it boils down to being super honest with yourself. I mean, think, we spend the majority of our time at work, actually, in certain age groups, definitely. And it's almost, okay, does this light me up? Is this fulfilling me? Is this what I really envisage doing? And almost trusting in yourself and having a little bit of courage to go, you know what, this is actually not what I want to do. And taking the next step to see, okay, well, what does light me up? What do I want to do? And I think it is so easy, isn't it, to be stuck in your 9 to 5 or 9 till whatever time and just go through the motions, autopilot. And it's learning to go, yeah, you know what, I'm just not happy here. But what is it that I'm not happy with? Because if the mindset doesn't change, you can take that whole, your beautiful self, to another role. And if your mindset's still not looked at, then something else is going to cause similar dissatisfaction. Does that make sense? And
yeah, completely. I don't think there's any coincidence either that there's this kind of sense of stress that's on women these days to be doing. A lot of women work full time, they have a family. There's the list of things, women spinning plates in so many different
the
areas.
pressure.
And
it's
pressure.
The pressure we can put on ourselves. And it's society's way of thinking. It's the linked to your background, it's linked to culture, it's linked to how you've been brought up as well. I know that was a huge part to play in my burnout 12 years ago. It was this pressure that I put on. Nobody else did. It was me going, oh no, this is what a good mummy looks like, and I'm just finishing clinic and I'm racing across to try and make it for pickup until I just went, what are you doing? That does not define me as a mum. But it's what, it's how you grow up almost. But it does, it takes a real good look at yourself and your, I guess, your values as well, and then also your strengths, because you could be doing something which isn't playing to your bestest strengths anyway.
Absolutely.
And I think that is, so here, what is your best answer for people that have a hard time with a negative mindset? It's a really good question. So do you want to have a stab at answering that, and then I can have
a
my
negative
tuppence worth?
mindset is again something that's come from somewhere, isn't it? It's either a limiting belief from something, it's come from your upbringing, it's come from culture, it can come from many places. But it's finding out how you can then switch it and what that means to you in switching that mindset. Yeah, flip. Yeah, flip it. Yeah. And I would work with somebody in helping them to write gratitude lists. So each day, knowing what it is that, like you've said, lights them up, that they're grateful for in their life. And by doing that kind of thing, then slowly, again, it's a process. It's not something that you do and your mindset, you're negative one day and you're positive the next.
No.
It takes time. And we all can find ourselves in a negative mindset. It's not
and it's okay. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. But writing gratitude lists, I think, really helps. Meditation, finding yourself in your own thoughts. And if you're not used to doing it yourself, finding some guided meditation to guide you through thoughts and affirmations, getting affirmations into your head rather than like saying to yourself the same old thing, oh, I'm rubbish at that, I'm rubbish at that, I'm rubbish at that. Switch that thought to I'm brilliant at that, I'm brilliant at that, I'm brilliant at that. It's a very simple thing, but those kind of things really work. And again, I've been through this. I've come from, everybody looks at me now and thinks I've got my shit together, when like years ago I didn't have my shit together, and I've gone through this process, and that's why I can sit here today and help women to get to this point, because I've been there and I've done it. And it's not that I haven't made the mistakes and I haven't
it's learned,
isn't it? It's a learning curve, and again, but it's different for everybody. I don't know what you'd say about changing a negative mindset to a positive.
Yes, I think again that the key is really understanding that you have the power to govern your thoughts. You have the power to govern your way of thinking. And as equally as it can get caught with the negative thinking, it can equally be flooded with this sort of a combat of hope, courage, gratitude, and love. And there is a lot of merit in that, but it's remembering it. So I mean, believe you me, when I was working in the practice I was in, which was in a city, hugely deprived, as a safeguarding for children lead and domestic abuse lead, believe you me, people, there was a reason for negative mindset, of course. And it's teaching somebody that does not need to define you. We're not minimizing whatever trauma, whatever's gone on. It's understanding how you actually have the power within you to flick your perspective. It's like, how I describe it is, it's when you see things and it's all a bit foggy, and it's like, say you're wearing glasses and it's all foggy. I mean, I've always got oil and creams on my hands, and my glasses are always quite grubby. I spray them and they're crystal clear again. And it's almost like that's the flip of the mindset, what it can actually do. And it's remembering there's always a flip side. Always a flip side. What to do? Is it harder with age to keep positive? What I think as you get older, what advice? So Russ is saying, what advice would you have for seniors? This applies, I think, to any age group actually, and I think connection is crucial. When you look at the basic needs of a human being, it's your physiological needs, so food, fluids, fresh air, exercise, doing the things you love doing, fun, and connection, I think, is really key. And obviously then the gratitude and keeping your mind busy, especially as you get older. And I know so many, yes, you do have a choice. Absolutely, Diana. You have a choice the way you feel or what you do next. I'll hand it over to you now, Michelle, because I've done a lot of talking. What would you say on that?
Yeah, I kind of understand what Russ is saying, that maybe older people have a fixed mindset, but anything can be shifted. And
Yes,
I
it's
think
not
you made a valid
impossible.
point there, that we all have had joy in our life, or already have joy in our life. It's just pulling that out.
Yes.
So is that one of your F's as well?
No, it's not. But you've reminded me. Remember the talk that I did on Saturday, which I was
Yes.
telling you, I was so proud of myself. I've made up a new acronym, everybody. I'm going to hashtag it. Joy, which is just own you.
Fantastic.
Just
Love it.
own you.
Loving
And
that.
also, just own you, meaning you get the power to choose, and it's all about your choice. And that might sound really, really simplistic and a bit, how can I just choose joy? You choose the things that bring you joy.
Yeah. So
Allow
yeah, again,
yourself to have
if
that.
we're talking about seniors and like
Yes.
feeling that they might have a fixed mindset, everybody, no matter what age they are, has had joy in their life, or
Yes.
is able to bring joy into the life. So it's just
Yeah.
reminding them of that, and that too
Yeah.
can be the shift, the flip, can't it? In getting somebody to change the way they think and behave. So I don't think there is an age on
No,
changing
I
your mindset.
agree. And age doesn't define you in terms of learning new things, learning new hobby, and doing something that's different, or picking up something that perhaps you've not done for a while. Obviously, health permitting. I mean, I've had patients as, oh, bless him, he was in his 90s actually, and he used to really, really active. He would go for walks. He'd come into the surgery with his backpack on, and he'd be very sort of, he was old school. He'd have his cap on. He'd be like, all right, doctor, you know, and we went out to go, and he'd go walking for ages, into his 70s, 80s actually, and until his health got too frail. And he was struggling. He was really struggling with his mood. And, you know, he was firing all cylinders in other ways. You know, he was okay. But he was losing that whole essence of being. And as I'm talking to him and, you know, going through, he used to be in the Navy. So I was like, you're going to love this. And it's the first one, which is this. And he did. He loved it. And remembering what he loved doing, which was poetry, and he sat in my clinic reciting me poetry, and I was like, oh my god, so and so, that's just beautiful. And he kept on looking at that, and I think it's reminding people of that, isn't it? And I think it is about connection as well. I think it's loneliness is two very different things. Feeling lonely and being okay to be alone, I mean, that's fine. But when you feel as if you are on your own and it's desolate, and you could be in a so-called happy family setup, but feel so lonely because your needs aren't being met, for example. And I think it's, again, allowing yourself to reach out. Okay, Candice is saying, I disagree. Oh, I missed it. I believe I'll have to have a look at that later. Okay, I believe society is programmed to name the busy mind to move us from our inner power to flip that switch. Yeah, I think I absolutely, the busy mind keeps you here, but we do have the power to flick it. It's remembering what brings you joy, what brings you that sense of peace. And we have the power actually to flip the switch. Owning you, just own you, is what I would say to that.
Yeah,
And any last comments, Michelle?
on that
Tell me about
subject?
some projects. Yes, projects that are coming up.
Oh, projects, that's exciting. So for many years, my husband and I have dreamt of buying a property in France and doing retreats over there, so that people can come and see what a healthy week can look like, whatever that means to them. It's not about my idea of what's healthy. I will ask the client what their idea of it is, and we have just actually bought the property. So the project is starting. We need to do a lot of work on the property before we can get it up and functional, but the project is in progress and progressing quite quickly. Really, it's gone quicker than I thought it would do.
How
But
exciting.
it's very exciting, and it is like something that, again, we've been talking about for such a long time, that now it's coming to fruition. It's just like, wow, it just almost doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
But it is real. And within about another year, I should be offering out retreats over in France.
I'm so excited.
Desired retreats is what it's going to be called. So
It's
you
just gonna
can
be-
design
yeah.
your desired
That's
retreat, whatever that looks like.
beautiful. I think I'm just going to hop over and stuff.
Anytime, you're very
Has she
welcome.
gone yet? No, she hasn't. You'd be like, come
Also,
on, let's do some exercise. I'm like, no, I'm quite happy just smelling the flowers and walking around the villages. Thank you.
well,
Sounds
if that's
beautiful.
that's what makes you feel relaxed, then that's what you need to do.
Very exciting. And tell everybody how they can get hold of you.
So I am available on LinkedIn, so Michelle Brookes. I'm available on Facebook, Desired Physique. I'm on Instagram, Desired Physique, and I have a website which is www.desiredphysique.co.uk, which should be going along the bottom.
It will. It is. Yes, there we have it. As if by magic. It's
I
brilliant,
know.
isn't it?
Got a great producer.
I know.
Here.
I love it. It's fantastic. Thank you. Thanks, Russ. Well, that's fantastic. So, I think there's lots of exciting things coming towards your sort of the next year or so. It sounds brilliant.
Yeah, and whilst we make the move to France, I still do online work. So I do work with endometriosis clients.
Yeah.
I've just got my diploma in life coaching, so I'm doing some life coaching, and yeah, just keeping on going globally with my business while we make the move as well.
Fantastic. You're a busy lady.
Very.
Oh, well done. I'm very, very proud of you. You're doing amazing.
Thank you.
And I can't wait for your retreat. Seriously.
Not can I.
Be awesome.
How's your French?
Comme ci, comme ça.
Ah, d'accord. Très bien.
Oui, un petit peu.
Très bien.
Not bad. Thanks. That's all I can really say. And apart from where is like the bakery? It was the things we got learned. Do you remember that in French and GCSE?
In the tricolor. In the tricolor.
Tricolor. And I used to get so hungry. I'd be like, oh gosh, this sounds really nice. When you say it in French, it just sounds so much more jambon as opposed to kind of a hambote. Do you know what I mean though? I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, bless. Right. I am looking and being strict with my timings. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Absolute
Always
pleasure.
fantastic
For inviting me on. So cool.
And I would love to have you back on again as a part 2, perhaps a part 3, 4, 5. Who knows? We could do a connection from France, maybe. That would be brilliant.
We could do it in French, couldn't we?
No, I'm thinking actually I could do something and be out in France. Hint.
Yeah. That's doable.
Yeah.
That's more than doable.
Take the live with the Glitter Practitioner to France.
Well, we have to call it, I don't know what the practitioner bit is in French, but brillante is in French. Brillante.
Ooh, is that for glitter? Sparkly?
Yeah.
Le brillante.
Yeah.
I sound like a brioche. I don't want to sound like a brioche. Le brillante. Le docteur brillante.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Okay. I can work with that maybe. Well, thank you for joining me. Stay around in the green room and I'll come in and come in for a chat in a minute.
Thank you very much for inviting me on, and thank you everybody for listening.
It's been fabulous. Thank you, honey. I'll see you soon.
See you soon. Take care.
I'll do that to wave you out. I'll shake the bells. Well, that was really exciting. I loved that conversation. And it's so important when we talk about mindset and really, really remember, you know what? We have the power to do anything we choose to. And I am going to spread my new acronym, apart from just the F list, of joy. Just own you. And when you do, watch the sparkles and the magic start to happen. Thank you so much for joining me today. And just as a reminder, you can find me here every Monday at 8 o'clock UK time, and that is noon Pacific Daylight Time. every Monday. I'm also doing my glitter clinics every Friday, where I am sharing 1 or 2 Fs. And there's a few more. It's some little surprises coming up in the next few weeks. Apologies that I didn't manage to post out my F on Friday. I was desperately trying to get my speech written for this talk that I was doing. And that's where I discovered JOY, Just Own You. So you can also find me mostly on LinkedIn, hashtag the Glitter Practitioner. Please follow me. And I'm also on YouTube, as well as Instagram, as well as Facebook, all the Glitter Practitioner, and there's only one of me. So thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again. Bye.